Alright, so I'm back, and today, kind of by request, I've been getting a lot of people talking to me on my reviews for the my top 10 and my top 10 favorite and top 10 worst figures of 2014. A lot of people are saying I was very biased on that, but that's kind of the point of a list like that. I'm not trying to offend anybody by saying that, but I mean, it's my top 10 list. I can pick anybody I want to for any reasons I want to. But a lot of people did make some good points. Why isn't Chronos on the list? Well, the reason why certain figures weren't on those lists was because they weren't. I never got them, so I didn't want to judge them. So after talking with some people and thinking about it for a while, and I know this is a late list to do this in, but today we're going to go over my top 10 favorite figures of 2014 and top 10 worst figures of 2010 or 2014 that I didn't get for one reason or another. And I'll go into why I like them, why I don't like them, and pretty much why I didn't get them. So we're going to start with the my top 10 favorites. And this list isn't really in any kind of particular order. So I just kind of whipped it together real quick. Okay, number 10. Gear Sharkticons. They look great. I did really want them. They look like they'd be fun and stuff like that. Gear has been doing a pretty good job lately. The problem I had with them was, one, they had been delayed for years because they teased them years and years and years ago, and it never happened. And when they announced that it was going to come out, it was delayed and delayed and delayed. And then finally it did come out, and a lot of people were happy. But at that point, I already had the unique toys versions, and was really, really happy with these. So I didn't get them because of this. Now they are on super clearance most places for like $60 for the set. So I probably will be picking them up at some point and just troop building, having 6 Sharkticons instead of just 3. So that's it. Number 9 is actually a figure that I have now, and I did want it then, and that is the Function X4 Sigma L. That would be the Mind Wipe figure. And I wanted him right off the bat. I thought he looked great. Yeah, he's right here. I thought he looked great. He looked like he'd be fun. Just looked like he'd be a good figure. The reason why I didn't want to get him is because around the time he came out, I had switched from Fans Projects to Toy Worlds because I thought they would make better headmasters. And in ways they do, in ways they don't. So, and then I switched over to try and do Masterpiece figures, and that didn't work out very well for me. As you guys know, I went back to the classics. So I did end up getting him. It was one of the first figures, newer figures of the classics that I had picked up. That wasn't just me rebuying something I already had at one point. And I'm not disappointed with him. And so, yeah, he looked great. He wasn't right for my collection at the time, and now he is. So that's why he's on that list. And there's at least one other figure on here that is the same like that, where it's like, I wanted the figure, but it didn't fit the collection at the time. Number 8, Unique Toys Salamore and their Splinter, I think he was. Wreckgar and what's his name? Psykill. Those are figures that I still want. Other things have been coming out that I want more. And, I've got a Wreckgar. I'm happy with the Wreckgar. I wouldn't mind getting a new Wreckgar. And, a near $100 third-party figure of a GoBot is kind of a hard it's a hard purchase. It does look great. The reviews on it make him look great. I want him. It's more of a financial thing. I don't have that kind of money just to spit out at a figure like that. Number 7 is another figure that set that I actually do really want, even though I have no purpose to him, is the iGears, or not iGears, Make Toys Trash Talk and Cogwheel set. That's their Swerve and Gears. And I have the Legends guys, and these guys are awesome. I really like them, but for some reason, I keep going back to the Make Toys versions. I was like, man, I should get them. So I guess one question of the day I have for everybody is, do those scale with the Legends figures? Are they about the same size? Because if they are, I probably will pick them up. If they're bigger, then I don't really want them. But that's my question of the day. I know I've seen it in videos before, but I can't remember. Number 6 is a figure that is on my top list of things to buy. It's just a $400 purchase is hard at the moment. I'm working on it. Every time I get close, something else comes up. But is the Make Toys Utopia. And I started last year off bashing this figure because of the fact that it was just a smaller version of the Hasbro, and pretty much everyone I know says that the figure's amazing. Every review I saw of it was pretty good. There have been a couple reviews of him that I was like, I don't know. But for the most part, he looks great, and I do want him. And that's Utopia. I do really want him. He looks great. I hear the plastic quality is in par with like metal almost. So yeah, I mean, I want him. I do. I just haven't had the funds to get him yet. Number 5, the Bulls Fire Airstrike. That's their swoop. That was the downsized, not downsized, but the in scale with the Masterpiece Grimlock, as opposed to Fans Toys, which made the in scale with Optimus Prime. So they're bigger than the Grimlock. That's why they had to do the boots for Grimlock. But their swoop was shorter than the Grimlock, so it's in scale with the current Masterpiece. And I thought he looked great. I'm still debating on picking him up because I think he would be a good place filler for a swoop for my G Creations until they make one, because they look like they're gonna scale pretty well together. But main reason why I didn't buy it is because of the fact that it's a $200 figure, and at the time it didn't scale with the Fans Toys Snarl. It didn't scale with him. So it's like, I don't want to spend $200 on a figure that doesn't scale, and then the Fans Toys was making theirs as well. So it's like, why spend $200 on a smaller figure when I could wait a couple months and get a bigger figure? And so primarily reason why I didn't get it is because it's just an insane cost for a figure that is smaller than other figures that are coming out for the same cost from other third-party companies. So yeah, he looked good. I just never got him. Number 4, Toy World's Infinitor, which is their Fortress Maximus. That is a figure that's on my list to buy now. I've been going back and forth. And it's like, it boils down to which one would you prefer? Do you want Perfect Effects, which is overly complicated and a little fidgety, and parts forming, but looks great in robot mode, but really ultimately is just the head of Fortress Maximus? Or you could go for the long wait and wait for the Make Toys version, which could be years down the line, most likely years down the line. Or you can get this one, which is like a downsized version of the G1 toy with more posability. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I think it looks great, and I I probably will pick it up, and he's gonna be a big figure, not as big as he should be. But I've always imagined Scorponok, because they're so brief in the show, and obviously they were city formers, but they were so big in the show, and then directly afterwards in the comics, because I remember when I was young, I'd read the comics that had them in it, and they were much smaller in those comics. They seemed to be able to go toe to toe with like Dinobots and stuff like that. So this scale would actually work a little bit better, in my opinion. All of this is in my opinion. So I do want him. No, next one is the KFC Blaster. He was coming out right when I was deciding that Masterpiece just wasn't for me. And, I had been burned too many times by certain Masterpiece figures and the third party's so-called Masterpiece figures like Ollie, that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So that's why I didn't get him. That was the only reason why I didn't get him. I know he had some QC issues, and KFC hasn't been my favorite company for a long time, but I did decide that I did want him. But at the last minute, it's like, okay, I'm getting out of Masterpiece, so there's no purpose for me to buy a $150 figure that I'm just going to turn around and sell. That's the one thing about me that I can't quite pull off that the other reviewers can, is being able to buy so many goddamn figures and just leave them around to review them and pull them up for comparisons. Half the time my figures come from me selling or trading figures to get other figures, because I don't make that kind of money on YouTube that these guys do. I know some of those bigger reviewers, they make a lot of money on this, and I don't make anything. So I can't just buy a bunch of figures. I can't have 3 different collections going. I can't do classics, large classics, and then Masterpiece. I can't. So it's one or the other. So, I'm doing the best I can. So it's like, when it comes down to stuff like that, when I decided to go back to classics, and I've been very happy once I did that. Once I decided to go back to that, it really turned into, I can't afford to buy the Masterpiece figures that I'm not going to be collecting. Anyway. Number 2 was Cloud Rodimus. That was a figure that I really, really wanted, but at the time I had switched over to Masterpiece, and I didn't think he would fit very well in the Masterpiece collection. And also, the big thing is that I thought, like most of the Cloud figures that end up sitting on clearance because nobody wants a Blitzwing repainted as Starscream. So I thought, he'll be there for a while and eventually the price will go down. And no, he wasn't. He sold out fast and it was hard for me to find one. I finally got mine on Toy Dojo, but I think I got the very last one in stock because they don't have any more. And now that he's going for like 200 plus on eBay. So I'm very happy I have him now, but I didn't have him in 2014. And that was the reason. It's just, I thought he was going to go on clearance, and I didn't know if he would fit very well with the MP cars. Which, now looking back, I think he would have fit pretty well with them. Much better than the MP Rodimus. God, that thing was junk. And the number 1 figure of last year that I didn't get was the Fans Toys Swoop. $200 figure, and he came out right when I was deciding to get rid of the Masterpiece figures. And so that's my top 10 list of figures I wanted from 2014 and never got, or got after the fact. So yes, I do. There's a number of these figures that are still on my to get list. Yeah. So top 10 worst figures of 2014 I didn't get and why. Number 10, the Mech Ideas Techno Toon Titans. That just pissed me off. Just saying that. Just, ugh. And, I know Animated has their fan base. Don't get me wrong. I know people like Animated. I am not really one of those people. I enjoyed the show, but I'm not going to go back and collect the figures, let alone buy a third-party add-on kit or third-party figures for figures that weren't really even in the show. Good Lord. I mean, what the hell? I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be Pipes and Huffer, and you know, I think they showed up in one back episode, you know, in the background one time, and it's like, or something. I don't even remember them being in the show. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, why in the hell would you waste your time with that? Especially for a company like Mech Ideas, who first, you know, venture into the third party world was those amazing Top Spin and Twin Twist figures. Those things were great. And then they jumped to this? No. And then the first release version of them was Mario and Luigi. I mean, I get it's humorous, but really, you really want to waste that much time, money, and resources for a joke? I'm sorry. That was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. Number 9. Now this is funny. The SXSR01 continuous variable. That was their gears. From every single review I've seen on it, and just everything about it, just screamed, this figure sucks. Quality control, just everything about it just was just god awful. Nobody seemed to like that figure, from what I seen or read. And no, I wasn't going to blow my money on something like that. And then it goes into, it's like, well, what the hell are they going for with the scale on this? Because it's too big to really fit into MP Masterpiece scale. It just was just garbage from the start. And then they repainted it as the Divergence figure, which was Swerve, but they didn't retool the head. They just repainted it, and then the face they painted Peach, which was like, what are you doing? Swerve is not a human. Swerve is not a human. I mean, yeah, he's got a white face here. I think everywhere else he's got a white face. I don't know why they gave him a peach face. It made him look human. I don't get it. So no, I wasn't going to waste my money on those figures. Number 8 would be the Military Titans Bruticus set, which I actually ended up buying. I actually have 2 copies of it now. I traded for one and then bought a second one because the first one, part of it broke. And that was probably the biggest reason why I didn't want to get it. Because in 2014, my mindset when this figure was coming out was Warbotron. Not upgrades, nothing like that, was Warbotron. And I finally jump shipped on the Masterpiece, and thus I had to jump ship on the Warbotron figures. So I don't have the Warbotron figures anymore. So I ended up getting him. I do like him. He's a decent figure, and we'll get into that in this review next week. But there was no enthusiasm in it in 2014 for me near the end. It just like, yeah, it's like I didn't get the coloration. You know, why didn't they do the Platinum Edition or the G2 version? Why did they go with the retail? You know, there's that question, and then there's also just, you know, a lot of people said there's a lot of quality control issues. There were delays upon delays upon delays, and he looked fidgety as fuck, which he is fidgety as fuck. I mean, look at this. That's some good QC going on there. Yeah, this one's a little bit better. But this one, yeah, these are supposed to be up. This one can't stay up. For, you know, $100+ figure, that's unacceptable. I mean, if it was a $20 figure, then I'd be like, yeah, you know, whatever. Loose joints, we can fix that. I shouldn't have to fix third-party figures. So anyway, number 7, the Master Mini from X Transbots, the Master Mini crank figures. I did have their version of Pipes, which I hated. And then the rest of their repaints and slight retools of that mold, I knew I was going to hate those too. So I refused to buy them. And then, of course, their Ollie figure. Yes, Ollie made it to my top 10 list as number 1 of figures I actually had. But they also retooled it and repainted it as a GoBot. And it doesn't get much worse than that. One, it's a figure that is not necessary for the G1 fans. I understand that some people do get a kick out of it. I, for one, could get pulled into GoBots as well. I'm not saying I would never. I probably would at some point. But this is not the way to go. I'm not going to buy a retool of one of the worst figures of all time, retool and repaint into a character that I really don't know anything about or care about. That's as simple as that one gets. Not doing it. Number 6. Now this one's probably gonna get me a lot of shit. Number 6 worst figures of last year's that I didn't get was the. And it was kind of a cheat on my part too. It's the Warbotrons, Vortex, and Onslaught figures. Why are they on this list? Mostly because of the fact they should have been out last year. They announced, when they first started putting them out, that they would be done by second quarter of 2014. And now we are nearing the second quarter of 2015, and we still haven't seen Onslaught. So that's why they're on the list. No, I couldn't have bought them even if I wanted to because of the fact that they weren't available. But the point is that goes into the, try and keep a timetable with your figures. If you have to stop and retool the whole line for quality issues, then you probably shouldn't have been releasing them to begin with. You probably should get your shit together to start with before you start saying, oh yeah, hey, these guys are coming out. I understand maybe they're wanting to get it out early so that they can get some money from the stores, but still, you gotta take some pride in your work from the start, not just like, oh, we'll sell this figure and then people are gonna complain about it and then we'll fix them. That's not very good business. So yeah, that's why they're on my list, is because of the fact that it's taken them so long. They detoured to make one part of an Computron, which we haven't seen any pre-orders for new ones come out. So that's crap. Number 5, Age of Extinction Lockdown. And this has nothing to do with the figure because I never owned the figure, but the design, the way it was built off of a Bayformer, and that's why I don't like it. He doesn't need to have a gun face. No. Where's his hook hand? I mean, it's Lockdown. He should have a hook hand. He should have spikes everywhere, not smooth human features that turn into a gun. It's just stupid. Number 4, Age of Extinction Galvatron. Oh, I hated the look of this figure so much. Some people say it looks good, but I think it's an insult to the character. The whole cab of the truck just slides off the top and then folds up on the back. That's not a transformer. That's just shellformer. That has a little bit better design on putting it away. No. Mm-mm. You got to integrate the parts of the vehicle mode into the robot mode. Look at the G1 Optimus Prime. He's got smokestacks sticking off his shoulders. He's got the windows right here. I mean, he would not be that popular if you just took the shell of the cab off and set it off to the side and he was just a robot. He wouldn't have been as popular. It irritates me. Number 3. I can't remember what company it was that made it, but it was an official gigantic Megazerk Scorponok figure. Wow. Okay. I've got a friend that buys the Gokin figures, which are non-transformable. They're a little over $100 and they have die-cast parts, and I could get behind that. They made the Alpha Trion. I will be picking that up at some point, and I could understand that. I'll argue argue all day about it not being, it's not a transformer if it can't transform. But at the end of the day, I could get behind it. I think it's a great idea. I thought it was a good idea with the Revoltech figures too, several years back. Just, having G1 figures that are based just for the robot mode. I could understand why people like it. Action Masters, no, because they had no posability really. So they weren't really good action figures, and they sucked. But this is a figure that looks really good. Don't get me wrong. It looks like a very good robot of Scorponok, but it doesn't transform. And I cannot get behind that at all. Why? Because it's a $500 fucking toy that doesn't transform. For $500, that damn thing better walk on its own and talk and make me breakfast. I'm sorry, for an official transforming product, even if it was done by Sentinel, that's who did it. I think the rumor is that they couldn't get the rights to make it Transformers. That's why they're able to make an official product. But the point is that if you're going to do something like that, make it in a price that people can buy. $100, I would have bought that all day. But $500, that's a lot of money for something that doesn't transform. Number 2, any flip and change figures. Why? Why are they even on this list? Because they're not an official Transformer, or I don't count them as official Transformers for collectors, is because of the fact that the other reviewers were reviewing them. I don't give a shit who you think you are. We really do not want to watch you going like this with the slam and change Optimus Prime and going, oh, he's in truck mode. Oh, he's in robot mode. Oh, he's in truck mode. Oh, he's in robot mode. I don't give a shit. That's not a toy I want to watch a review on. That is not worth my time. That's not worth my money. And I don't know why anybody would waste their time reviewing something like that. Come on. There's so many other actual figures you could be reviewing. And the one review that I'm thinking of in particular never finished Warlord. Okay, are you saying the flip and change Optimus Prime is a better Transformer and deserves a review when this doesn't? That pissed me off, and that's why I'll never buy the flip and change figures, and that's why they're on this list. See, they just get me so heated. When I get so pissed off at a figure that I'd never own. And the last one is Chronos. And that's due to quality control, the cost. Many reviewers broke it during the reviews, both before, after, and during. Lots of complaints. No. Not good. Not good. I'm not going to do it. So, no. I don't care what other people say. Oh, it's a good figure. You just have to use care. No, for $200, I better be able to throw that thing on the wall and it should be fine. But no, you can't. Anyway, maybe not that drastic, but you guys know what I mean. These things, for the cost, these things better be good quality control. Not I have to be careful with the delicate, fragile figure so it doesn't break. I'm not buying it. No. That company can improve the quality control issues and then make a good figure, because that figure would have sold like hotcakes and it would be sold out everywhere and be quadruple the cost on eBay right now had they made good quality control from the start. And if they would have done that, nobody would have complained. I would probably still own one sitting on my shelf somewhere. But no,